Hey everybody, my name is Patrick and I own MacDonald Timing, and this is my short video about my checklist for getting ready for cross-country season. So truthfully, I really don't like checklists. That's not how my brain kind of goes through things. I'm more of a problem solver. So I think about all the problems that I need to solve coming up to every given season and just kind of go through them. But I am often asked for a checklist during training that I do for people, and this is kind of my short and sweet checklist of things that I always make sure I do before cross-country season. So I'm actually sitting inside of and on top of two of my biggest problems. I am in the Mid-South. I'm in Arkansas. It's quite hot here during the summer. Average high last month was 96 degrees, which is hot. My garage is a 3-season garage, like most garages, but I have a lot of insulation. So it means that my 3 seasons are fall, winter, and spring. We get done with track season and I need to change out the van. You know, all the things that I'm needing for track season, I don't need for cross-country season can come out. And then I just kind of want to reconfigure the whole thing. But the reason that this is now a problem this year specifically is that it's a brand new van for me. I got it back in March, and so I've never done a cross-country season with it, and I am inclined to make some modifications to it in order to make that easier. And you can see some behind me because I actually have gone through and done most of the work in the van to get ready for cross-country, but not all of it. And I do promise that I am going to film a video about the van when I'm ready to say it's kind of mostly done. So I'm just changing things out, and honestly, my garage right now, I'll show a picture of it, is kind of all over the place. I need to spend some time out here doing that. But right now, for whatever reason, we've got a few days where it's absolutely gorgeous, and temps are pretty low, and then even more importantly, the overnight temps are very low. So we'll be able to lower the overall ambient temperature in the garage, and I can do work without getting heat stroke. So the garage, my van, those are the first things that I really try to get dealt with. So the next two are closely related as well. I'm getting rid of my digital waste. So on my website, I'm clearing out the subfolders from our track events this past spring because it includes a whole bunch of result list files and start list files, which I don't need anymore. And then on my laptops, I'm getting rid of the meet images from the events that we did in the spring as well, because we don't need those after about July of every year as well. So getting rid of all of those. And then on my laptops, I'm upgrading the software, making sure that I'm running the most recent version and that everything is really firing on all cylinders. And I suppose the final thing for me is going to be my chips. And I have a very specific pattern that I like to endure with it, which is I go through and I scan every single chip every single year. I personally scan each and every one to make sure that they all read. It's loud, it takes time, it's annoying, and I don't like to do it, but it leaves me with a nice clean slate of all my chips, and I know that they all read. It's really the best way to make sure that something didn't happen and they're not damaged, or they're all working basically. And then so I do that for some 3,000 chips that we've got kind of regularly in service. And then I go through and I create about 100 temporary chips that I can put into our rotation if we have a chip that doesn't come back to us. So what I do is at that bottom of that list, that big chip file that I create, you'll see there's some numbers that are way out of range, 9,000, 10,000, 11,000, whatever it may be. But I know the code on them, and I can just change them over and then move them in as an alternate chip. So if some people get a chip that says 975A, that means it's 975, but it's my alternate chip for it. And then when I get 975 back, I put it back in, and then I got to make sure that I pull that chip out and I remove it from the whole thing and get ready for next year. I don't use that alternate chip. I don't reassign it that particular year, which allows me to kind of make sure that all of the things that all the chips that I've got are in service properly. There might be a better way to it. This is how I do it. If you don't do it that way and you've got a better way, leave down in the comments below, because man, I don't know. but so that's that's how I handle it. And then the final thing that I don't do, but I suggest to a lot of people, is to do a mock event, create a new event, and run it off, and just kind of a fake event basically. I don't do it personally because I don't really have problems changing gears from season to season, and I'm doing this constantly. This is all that I do. I mean, This is my full-time job. So somebody that's doing it maybe just a couple of times a year or something like that, this is an absolute necessity, I believe. Personally though, I don't need it, and my technicians, my crew, I just take them out on the road and actually have them do the full setup, at an event, basically just see what they do with it, see how they handle it on their own, basically. So they're not doing a mock event either, they're doing it for real, and I'm just there making sure that all the boxes have been checked. But again, this is definitely a personalization idea. Like, you do you with it. If you want to do a mock event or two, do it. I know that some people, that's the only way they feel comfortable doing it, and I totally support their decision. So that is that. I suppose that's really the kind of list of things that I like to do. Just changing over the van, dealing with all my laptops, making sure that they're all up to date, batteries are charged and everything like that. I guess I could add that in addition is that I'm making sure that my reader batteries are handled, but I just changed out those batteries last year, so I'm not worried about them this year. It's just lots of little tiny things that we make sure that are really spot on and ready to rumble. So that's my help to you, hopefully. If you have any thoughts or questions, please feel free to leave it down in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Good luck this season.